Hey, Motorman here. A lot of times on my class videos, I'll point out all the mistakes that riders make while learning the three techniques. But sometimes I get riders like this past weekend, I had three riders who got it almost immediately. They were using their head and eyes, the friction zone, a little pressure on the rear brake, and you can see how well they did. And I'm going to show you just the most difficult exercises. And sometimes, yes, I do push them a little bit because I got to get you out of your comfort zone. Also, watch to the end because I'm going to show you a brand new Harley dealership that just opened up in Wesley Chapel, Florida. And also want to mention we have a brand new Ride Like a Pro school in Albany, New York that's on my website under other locations. All right, what I've got set up here is the snowman, but initially we're just going to use two of the circles. So in other words, they're making a figure eight. And I've got two riders in the figure eight at the same time. They just got to use their head and eyes. In fact, the first rider, he just rides his own ride, and the next rider has to watch him constantly to make sure he's close enough to him and to make sure he doesn't get too close. So it's more difficult for the second rider. Since they did so well, I said, let me try three riders in here. And that's exactly what I did. They're using a really good space there. They're taking up every inch of it. The big circle here is 30 feet, so you got a little leeway. You can cut it short, but you can't cut it too short. And this next one, 26 foot to the right. But they did very well. I was proud of them. The last rider has the most difficult job because not only does he have to keep up, but he's got to watch the rider in front of him and not look at the cones, because wherever that rider in front of him is, that's where he's going to have to be a split second later. I think they all did very well. Next, I have each of the riders run through the entire snowman. And once again, this is a 30-foot circle to the left. Rider makes a complete circle. Pulls into the next one, that's 26 feet to the right. And why riders find this difficult is because there's so many cones in a confined space. If you look at the wrong cones, which is the orange cones and not the green tipped cones, you're going to wind up hitting them, knocking them over. But these riders, they knew where to look and when to look there. This rider's on a Moto Guzzi. That's right, a Moto Guzzi. The amazing thing is, this is the second Moto Guzzi I've had at my class in the past couple of months. Now, Moto Guzzi only sells 2 motorcycles a year in the U.S. All right, I'm exaggerating. But it's amazing that I got 2 Moto Guzzi riders come to my class, the Ride Like a Pro class. And this rider does very well. Uses his head and eyes, the friction zone, a little pressure on the rear brake. This rider has excellent head and eyes. He watched a lot of my YouTube videos, he told me, and he knew that that's what was really the key to running these exercises properly. And for the people who say, well, why do we do so many circles? Because the circle forces you to use the three techniques all at once. Turning your head and eyes, looking only where you want to put that front tire. And of course, the friction zone. And you got to have a little bit of pressure on the rear brake. When you get really good, you could eliminate the rear brake and just use the clutch and throttle. But initially, it's always good to start with all three techniques. I decided 2 of these riders, the Moto Guzzi and the Harley Ultra, they were good enough that they could run this exercise together. Now, the hardest part, as I said, the rider in behind, he's got to try to keep up with the rider in front because he doesn't want to be late getting into a circle. And he needs to just look at the rider in front of him. He can't look at the cones, not even the green tip cones. He just has to look at that rider and take the exact same path that he took. Now, I'm all for pushing riders beyond their comfort level, but I felt that this rider, since he'd never done any of these things before, but just watched some of my YouTube videos, it was best to let him do this on his own, and he did very well. He's turning his head and eyes. He's looking just at those green tip cones. The trick to this is you got to find the next green tip cone when you're 5 feet from the one in front of you. And he does that perfectly.
All right, now he's getting jiggy with it.
I love having riders like this that are really serious about their riding and they want to do the best job they possibly can, and that's exactly what I had. And as promised, here's the new Harley-Davidson dealership in Wesley Chapel. Now, this dealership moved from Tampa. They were on Dale Mabry in Tampa, and it was a smaller dealership, very difficult to get in and out of that dealership because of the traffic on Dale Mabry. And because of the traffic also, there was really no good area where you could take a test ride on the motorcycles. While they let you take the test ride, it's kind of crowded, lots of traffic. But this area right here, Wesley Chapel, is really growing. In fact, I believe this is in Pasco County now, and we've had 40,000 people move into Pasco County in just the last year, and many of them in this area in Wesley Chapel. In fact, they call it New Tampa because so many people are moving out of the city and into this suburb. And the dealership, like a lot of new Harley-Davidson dealerships, it sort of has the look of a giant warehouse, and plenty of room to put as many motorcycles as they could possibly get in stock there. They've got used bikes, new bikes, and their parts department is quite large, and their service department is new state-of-the-art service department. It's all in glass, so when you pull your motorcycle in, you could actually see the mechanics working on your bike. And here's their parts department. They moved everything up from Tampa, and of course now they can have a much bigger stock of parts because the building is so big. They also have an area behind it where they're going to be doing the beginner class. So this is a new state-of-the-art Harley-Davidson dealership. I hope you enjoyed this video.